wrestling and music have gone hand in hand for a very long time. Like most people are always go right to the rock and wrestling connection with Cyndi Lauper and everything in the 80s. But like long before that, music and wrestling always had a connection. And instead of trying to do like a whole history of, because that's a lot, I just thought that I would pick out 5 times, at least since I've been alive, with there's been like some really cool connections between music and wrestling. And again, the obvious one, I think people always go to the Cyndi Lauper thing, which had a lot to do with the creation of WrestleMania. So I'm not downplaying it all. I'm just saying, instead of, going right to that. But what's interesting is I think there's a couple of these that you haven't seen, but I know for a fact that there's a good amount that you have really loved. So there's a couple of them here right at the beginning. The first 2 that I'm going to talk about are more like moments in time, like childhood memory type things for me than anything. And I don't know, have I ever shown you the video of the wrestlers doing? Okay, so there's the video of the WWF superstars, WWF at the time, superstars doing Land of a Thousand Dances by Wilson Pickett. And it is a fever dream. It's like the only way to describe it. Yeah. It's just like, what is happening right now? But it's hard to describe. But when I was a kid, I mean, you have to understand, this was the lead single off of the wrestling album. And there was like a bunch of like Real American was on it. What's funny is Real American is Hulk Hogan's theme. But at the time, Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda used it to come out. So it's listed as their theme on the album, wild. But it would go on to be famously associated with Hulk Hogan. But the song Land of a Thousand Dances is such a great, would you call it a novelty song?
I mean,
ish. I mean, it's such a great song in the first place. And then like, it's one of the WWF superstars doing this song is one of those things that sometimes you're like, did I make that up or did that happen when I was a kid?
That's great.
And then the other one, I'm certain you don't know about this, but before the Road Warriors became the Legion of Doom in WWF, they used to be a very big deal in Mid-South wrestling, which is, I don't want to degrade it by calling it a local promotion, but I mean, it was Memphis wrestling. But let me put it this way. If I'm getting episodes on broadcast TV on Friday and Saturday night in Detroit as a kid, that's more than a local promotion. For sure. But a lot of guys, there's more to it than just Jerry Lawler. A lot of folks came through Mid-South, of course, went through NWA and all that before coming up. And when you are a smaller organization, you don't so much have to worry about copyrights because people aren't going to find out things, right?
Sure.
So the Road Warriors, with how they look, the football pads with the spikes on it and the face paint, and they just look like as a little kid, I was like, they're going to kill us. Mm-hmm. Like they're coming to kill us. They used to come out to Iron Man by Black Sabbath.
Oh boy.
And so you just and even run-ins and stuff, right? So like, somebody be in Michael Hayes would be in the ring, beating the crap out of a face or something. And then you just hear, and the whole place would go nuts. And you hear that, and people would just lose it. Like it was so cool. And for the longest time, when I was a kid, I didn't know anything about copyright. So I was like, why don't more people do that? But it was just like, they just did it and got away with it, So I always thought that was rad. The next one, and hopefully I'm not offending anybody with this. I'm just not a Motorhead guy. Like they don't do anything that I love. Mm-hmm. But it's also one of those things where I respect the hell out of Lemmy. And the band for that matter, but their music isn't mine.
Sure.
But the only Motorhead song that I truly love is Triple H's theme, The Game. And, the fact that, this guy grew up a big Motorhead fan and became such a huge thing in wrestling, and then had Motorhead play the song live to introduce him at Mania, a guy who's known for his Mania entrances. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's got to be...
Yeah. I it's unbelievable, right? I remember you showing me this for the first time, and, Triple H is obviously a very, imposing fellow, with
or without a sledgehammer,
right? And the first time you showed me that, and you set it all up, because you're like, he is a big fan of Motorhead, and look at this, they're doing this with him, I don't care what he looks like in there, his brain had to have been going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, sure. Oh my god, yeah. Why wouldn't it?
I read somewhere, without trying to go too far off, that I think it was Harley Race or someone taught him that, like, no matter what happens, how big you're doing, how small the show is, like, you got to take a moment during every match to like take it in. And that's why he started doing it became part of him being imposing, but that's why he stops at the top of the ramp and like looks all around first and then goes. He does that every time because he's like he's trying to remember all of it, as it happens. So I'm for sure.
Like there's a little kid somewhere in his head in that moment, just like pooping himself.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. The next one is one that, and I realize that every graduation ceremony on earth uses this song, but Pomp and Circumstance by Sir Edward Elgar. I don't know anybody who doesn't associate that song with Macho Man. Like anyone.
That's
and
fair.
You talk about, like, I know people like that Ric Flair uses also Sprach Zarathustra, and that's got to be a nod to Elvis because Elvis was introduced with that song all the time too. But like, if you're at a graduation ceremony and Pomp and Circumstance, someone in the building is doing a Macho Man pose or something, like, you know what I mean? Like, I bet there are people who think that graduations are using Macho Man's theme, not the other way around.
The other way around.
And I mean that in every way to be complimentary, and what a perfect song for his character. Like, this guy's so full of himself, like no one matters, not even Liz, who he's so protective of, but he, as the character, I'm not getting into Randy and Liz as people. But the character's so protective of her, but at the same time, he doesn't care about her at all. Like, he just takes his stuff off and throws it at her and whatever. Like, what a perfect song for a guy who that's his entire persona.
Yep.
And again, I know this is before your time, but when we were little kids, like, if you, whoever's in the ring and you're waiting for Macho Man to come out next, the moment that started, like, they do that long camera all the way down the ramp, and then he'd just be there looking all, face or heel. People got excited when they heard the song, the last one that's going to be on the list is another one where, this wrestler loves this band so much, and he's had the pleasure of being introduced by them a couple of times. Like, they actually played, but at the most recent WrestleMania, they came out and played, and that's, Cult of Personality by Living Color. And as Brian from Wrestling with Regret calls him, Charles Montgomery Punk, CM Punk. And CM Punk is one of those guys, you can love or hate him, but I don't care who, you can be the most staunch CM Punk hater. And when you hear that white noise and Vernon Reed's guitar riff, you get giddy.
Absolutely.
The most jaded, sits around on the internet doing nothing but complaining about wrestling all the time, and has, we're 2 years into CM Punk's return, and he's done absolutely nothing wrong. The guy who still said, well, you know what? Nope, just wait. He's going to screw up. That guy, he's still giddy. Whether he sits there stone faced or not, it's like the Triple H thing. Like, whether he sits there stone, yeah. And I just love when bands see that, like that they're not above wrestling or anything. Like, and I mean this with no disrespect to Living Color, but that WrestleMania crowd's got to be 10 times the size of the crowd they've played to in forever.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're strong and they tour and whatever, but they play like theaters and lower, like, even if you just look at that as, hey, let's get some promotion, like, hey, you're playing Cult of Personality in front of 40,000 people again for the first time since 1987 at a guess, but it's just one of those, and I know these are kind of like vague moments that I picked here, but they're all ones that I just think, at least for me, get me just like they're either instant memory recall or a thing that like today, if any of this hits, people go crazy.
Yep.
Like Triple H isn't even active, and every time the game starts, people go crazy. So what are some of your favorite wrestling moments? And again, I don't mean to discount Cyndi Lauper and the Rock and Wrestling Connection and all that. So if you have thoughts on that, by all means, drop a comment. But what other ones did I not talk about that mean a lot to you, or that I should show Lauren? Because she's years into being a fan now, but she's a much newer fan to sports entertainment than I am. So there's probably a ton of moments that I'm forgetting about that if you drop a comment, I will go, oh, I got to show you that one too. But if you would please hit the like button, that helps the channel grow. Make sure to drop those comments because that matters to us. That's Lauren. I'm Russ. Thank you so much for watching.